Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show with Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yater. Today's empowering program will encourage you to step into your power, to take action in your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. Listen in today as we speak to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be inspired. Be encouraged. Be transformed. Together, let's take your power back with our host, Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach, Kim Yater.
Well, hello, my freedom-loving patriots. Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show. I'm your host, Peak Performance Master Coach Kim Yater. And today we are coming to you live with the fire of truth and in the spirit of reclaiming our great California. We've just come off the heels of an explosive event. The Kern County Take Our California Back Election Transparency Governor and State Candidate Forum. What a powerhouse day. Guys, if you have not seen it, go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. You need to watch that show. It was a powerful day in California's breadbasket, diving deep into election transparency, real election reform, and solutions that matter to our farmers, ranchers, and everyday patriots just like you. We heard from whistleblower Clint Curtis, the Shasta County Registrar of Voters insider and Congress whistleblower, exposing the vote flipping code that's been hiding in plain sight because he's the coder who created the code to flip the vote to be used in the machines. This goes all the way back to the Bush administration. Now, he didn't know that that's what they were going to use it for, but I'm telling you, this is what they've been using to steal your vote and your voice. Now, alongside Clint Curtis, our incredible candidates joined us at Kern County. We had Urson Russell moderating like a boss for State Assembly, Michael Gates for Attorney General, Eric Statler for Riverside Supervisor, Scott Shields for Governor, Greta Solorzano for Governor, and a whole slew of candidates and state candidates standing with us. We talked additional election safety feature for transparent elections, ensuring every ballot is seen and counted by the people, live and unfiltered. That's right. That is full transparency to you because we the people deserve that. And a huge shout out to Natalie Feinberg and Karen Boyd for making this event absolutely epic. And thank you, Kern County. But folks, that's really just the beginning. I've had the honor of interviewing 14, and I would say probably 15 now, governor candidates so far, launching the Take Your Power Back California Governor Showdown, which spotlighted the freedom-loving governor candidates ready to lead. We ramped it up with the Take Our California Back Election Transparency Governor and State Candidate Forums, hitting county after county, with Shasta County as the epicenter of this movement. There, we got the Registrar of Voters clerk standing tall, that whistleblower that we mentioned, Clint Curtis, who's showing us how we too can take our elections back to full transparency. Dr. Douglas Frank, the election integrity expert who's battling in 48 states, showing us the data, the way forward. We're not just talking problems. We are forging solutions to take our California back from the shadows. And today, we're zeroing in on a key player in the fight for election transparency and real election reform. His name is Michael Gates. Get ready. He is running for the Attorney General of the great state of California. And he is talking transparency. He's talking reform. And he is powering up you, we the people in this great state, to take our power back. So, guess what we get to do right now? We get to bring Michael Gates in. And a little bit about Michael: he is a true patriot who's no stranger to standing up against the liberal machine in California. Now, listen, we're not saying that all the left, the Democrats, are liberal. We're not saying that. We need everybody to vote. But he's been standing up against the woke mentality, and I would say the Marxist ideology. He's the former city attorney of Huntington Beach, where he served for a decade after being elected in 2014. He's built a reputation as a tough, outspoken defender of local control, faith, family, and freedom, pushing back against state overreach on everything from voter ID to crime policies. Michael briefly served in the Trump administration's Department of Justice Civil Rights Division before returning to California to run for Attorney General. He's running on a platform that's pro law enforcement, tough on crime, and committed to restoring integrity to our systems. Michael Gates, I want to welcome you in to the Take Your Power Back show. Hey, Michael, welcome.
Hey, how are you? Good to be with you. Thank you, Kim.
Hey, it's so good to see you. And I have to tell you, we're on the heels of Kern County, and it was a joy being with you and your beautiful bride. And I just got to say, Michael, you didn't hold back. I did hear, though, that Michael was a bit restrained. So I don't know. I haven't seen that part of you just yet. So I'm telling you today, this is your opportunity to bring it. And Michael, I'm just so happy to have you here.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good to be here. And as you said, I'm known in Huntington Beach and in Orange County, so Southern California, as a fighter because I fought Sacramento, and as I call them, the Sacramento elites, for about a decade before I went back and served in the Trump administration, which I did in 2025, enforcing federal elections laws. So I think no matter who you ask, who knows me, they're going to say this guy is a real fighter. He's a patriot, and he's unafraid. And I think that's a pretty fair characterization, because when I became city attorney of Huntington Beach in 2014, and I served for 10 years, and then again, when I worked for the Trump administration this past year, all I cared about was fighting for the people. And so I was doing everything I could at every turn to really take the fight to lawlessness, which a lot of it was in Sacramento. In fact, when I was with the Trump administration, I was the one that sued California for violating federal elections laws. And I was the one who sued Orange County, California, for violating elections laws. So I have a pretty consistent and regular pattern, a history of fighting. I'm not afraid to fight. There's so much reward in fighting for what I consider pretty oppressed people. I mean, especially in California. I was just at an event this morning, and I said, we don't really live in the land of the free anymore here in America when you live in California. There's so much oppression, there's so much regulation. Sacramento really has the heavy boot on the throat of so many everyday Californians. And so I have spent, like you said, my career fighting Sacramento, fighting the elitists. And I don't know if your audience knows, but I was the one in Huntington Beach who was the architect of Huntington Beach's voter ID law. I was the one that was the architect of Huntington Beach's declaration that it's a non-sanctuary city in the state of California. So it's a non-sanctuary city. Yeah. I fought crime and reduced it by double digits. I fought homelessness and reduced it by double digits. I fought the heavy-handed state mandates that demanded high-density housing be placed in every corner of the state. I fought that for years. I've been fighting Sacramento over and over and over. So, and then, like you said, election integrity, parents' rights. Huntington Beach is a parent's right to know city. Yes. And I sued the state of California on that state law that we're all now hearing about that went to the US Supreme Court, on that very state law that mandates that teachers keep secrets from parents over their children's gender issues and gender transition issues. I fought that too, and we prevailed in court as well. So that law gratefully, happily was struck down. But as you said, I'm a fighter, and I'm going to keep fighting for everyday Californians, regular folks.
Come on.
I have a certain amount of disdain and contempt for elitists who seek to control us from the ivory tower. And so I'm just an everyday Californian myself, and I'm not afraid to take the fight to Sacramento, against Sacramento, but now to Sacramento to continue the fight for everyday Californians from Sacramento.
Come on, Michael. Well, first, I just want to acknowledge you. Thank you. We see what you've done. Huntington Beach is a beacon. It's a light on a hill right now. And there are counties and cities that are looking at Huntington. They're looking at Shasta, and they're saying, I want what you have.
Mhm.
And that's because you put a stake in the ground. You said, you know what? This is where I am, and I am not going to let it be taken from me.
Right.
This is for the next generation to come. So, Michael, I want to say a big thank you from me, from all of our listeners, and really those that have been following you throughout the state. It's exciting, this next leg of the race for you. So, what is that driving force for you, Michael? For you to step into this race for the Attorney General, there was something that clicked for you that you said, the time is now. Tell us about that, Michael.
Yeah, so the time is now, and for the audience, it's really important to take this seriously, which is California right now, across the general voting public, California right now is ripe for a change. If you look at the polling across Democrats, Independents, and Republicans alike right now, they say that they're more open to a Republican in leadership than any time in recent history. So the public is very interested in a change. Everybody's fed up with the elitists in Sacramento. And actually, you don't have to look very far to see what those polls are suggesting. And that is, if you look at the governor's race, for instance, we have two Republicans leading in the governor's race. And I know many will say, well, that's because the Democrats have so many candidates, they're vote splitting. That's not my point. My point is, where's the next Gavin Newsom, like the Gavin Newsom 2.0? Where's the next high-profile Democrat heavyweight who has been dominating the media for the past year and a half as the heir apparent to Newsom? There isn't one. Senator Padilla took a look at this race for governor, and he looked at the polling. He did polling. The polling didn't support him getting in the race, so he said no. Kamala Harris did the same thing. She did polling. It didn't support her. She said no. In fact, Attorney General Rob Bonta, our current Attorney General, who I am squaring off with in this election and will beat him, he did polling, and it didn't support a candidacy for him to run for governor either. So, and that's polling. So the public is saying no to these big name Democrats. And that's why we have this field of candidates. Also look at the fact that LA County and San Francisco County, which are very, very deep blue counties, they threw their district attorneys out of office. So Chelsea Boudin, who was the DA in San Francisco, got recalled. And George Gascon, who was the DA in Los Angeles County, he lost his reelection. It should have been easy for him to get reelected. Those are deep blue counties. Those are deep blue voters throwing out their leaders, and they're saying, we want new leadership.
That's
so
right.
The time is right now. And that's why I think between the public sentiment against our current leadership right now and wanting change, and then Rob Bonta, who's extremely weak, his polling numbers would not support him jumping in the governor's race, which means the public doesn't like him now in the first place. And then he's mired in his own controversy. Not only is he spending $500,000 on criminal defense attorneys, he's lawyering up and trying to defend himself against criminal investigations. He's also being sued by big companies for defamation, which is lying. So they're accusing him of lying to injure them. So he's got a lot of problems, and I think the public is not very happy with him either. As far as I'm concerned, getting into this race, I could do a lot of things, Kim, as you know. I think we talked about it. I could go into private practice. I could retire early and enjoy my 5 kids.
You have a big family, Michael.
I could enjoy my 5 kids and my 4 grandkids and live happily ever after with my wife. But I feel like I have more fight in me. And when I wrote to Pam Bondi, when I was resigning from the DOJ, I told her in my letter I wanted to return to Huntington Beach to fight for California, because I knew I had more fight in me, and I felt I was going to be better placed to be fighting for California rather than on the national stage. I think California is salvageable. I think the time is right now. And I think, frankly, Californians, if they hear my message and they understand how different I am than the incumbent Rob Bonta, I think they're actually going to easily agree with me. They're going to say, yeah, we want this leadership because we want what Huntington Beach had or has. We want that for our cities too. So we want for California what we have had in Huntington Beach. And voters they're suggesting that that's what they want. So I'm very passionate about this on the one hand, but I'm very enthusiastic. I have a lot of wind at my back with the support from the public. We have only been public with this campaign for Attorney General for 6 weeks. We have 1,000 individual donors. We've raised $300,000. My list of endorsements is very long and it keeps growing. So we have all the momentum. And I think with your audience joining the team as well,
Yes.
and for this to continue to snowball, I think we're going to have a massive, massive upset here in November.
I would 100% agree. I mean, the people are waking up. They're tired of the fraud. They're tired of the corruption. They want somebody that is really going to give power back to the people.
Yep.
And you're not just telling them that you're going to do that. You've set the stage. You showed us already what you've done by your actions,
That's
you know, in Huntington Beach. So, Michael, I absolutely love that. And I got to tell you, I was surprised. I mean, I had already heard a lot about you. You know, I had seen you on different things, but when I got to really experience you, my experience was authenticity. Also, Michael, you have this spirit of joy, and I see it. It's like a big kid in you. You're willing to do whatever it takes to bring that truth out. And what's important to me, and I believe to the voters, is that the person that we are going to elect is not going to kowtower. They're not going to bend a knee. They're not going to, and I'm not directing that anywhere. My point is, they're not going to say, I'm going to take on this other agenda. I can be paid out. That you're willing to put a stake in the ground.
Yeah.
That's who we want to vote for.
Yeah.
So my experience of you, Michael, was, holy cow.
Yeah.
Why are you not running for governor?
Well, I'm on the campaign trail with Steve Hilton, and I think he's a
Yes.
great candidate. We're part of the golden ticket. But I will tell you, Kim, I really do think you have a good read on this. I was actually at a Calvary church this past weekend, speaking in front of two different groups, two different services. And this was the Calvary up in San Jose.
Yes.
And I literally opened up my remarks, and I only had a couple minutes. And one of the things I chose to say at the beginning is, who stands before you is a happy warrior willing to take on this spiritual battle to save California. And that's really, I think that's right. And you're reading it right. I do have a lot of joy. I have a lot of hope and a lot of optimism for California, because I have this inherent faith and belief in the people. I have inherent distrust of government, right? Government is constantly broken. They're constantly lying to us. There's corruption everywhere that we turn when we look at our government, particularly and specifically in Sacramento. We need to look no further than the $250 billion that the Sacramento has lost through waste, fraud, and abuse. Right. $250 billion. And I repeat that over and over because I want people to understand what that means. That's over $6,000 per person in the state of California through waste, fraud, and abuse. And what did Newsom just announce? He's going to throw another $300 million at the homelessness issue, which just basically means, and I put this on my social media just this morning, that's just another deposit into the bank account of waste, fraud, and abuse for his cronies and for the criminals. That's not actually going to solve any problems. He's already lost $24 billion to the homelessness issue, or to solve the homelessness issue, and homelessness has only grown. So what we're seeing is flagrant, blatant fraud, waste, and abuse, and he's throwing it in our face. It's like an insult. Oh, I'm going to take more of your taxpayer money and I'm going to give it to my cronies or to my buddies or to these NGOs. We know the money's going to go disappearing. We know it's going to be gone. We're not going to be able to track it, but we don't care. It's just more of your taxpayer money. So it's just pretty disgusting. So I have an inherent distrust of government. I inherently trust the people, the public. And I'm an everyday Californian. You know, I come from a very blue collar family myself. My dad worked 3 jobs oftentimes just to make ends meet. I had grew up in a large Catholic family. I've got 7 siblings myself. And so we were grinding it out every day here in California to make ends meet. And oftentimes it was difficult then, back in the 80s, but it's far more difficult now because now we have skyrocketing gas prices, even though the rest of the country is experiencing gas around $2 to $3 a gallon. We're still north of $5 a gallon here. And this is hard on everyday Californians. We've got skyrocketing taxes, income taxes and gas taxes and sales taxes, skyrocketing homelessness and crime, and now the attack on our children, both with the interpretation of Title IX or lack of compliance with Title IX, where we're now throwing boys and young men into girls and women's sports in our school and education system.
Right.
And now Attorney General Rob Bonta is suing hospitals, including a children's hospital, to force them to perform trans surgeries on minors. So he's literally taking them to court to force them to perform trans surgeries.
Yeah.
So the elitists in Sacramento are attacking our most vulnerable. They're completely tone deaf and out of touch. I don't trust them. I trust everyday Californians. That's why I want them to put me there. I will fight for them. I will be a happy warrior, and I will return California back to Californians. I can't be bought. I cannot be bought. I'm going to do the work of the people.
Come on.
We're going to be compliant with federal, state, and local laws up and down the state of California when I'm in office on day one. I absolutely guarantee it.
Michael Gates, I absolutely love it. And Michael, I really hope everything that you just shared right now, I hope that we've reached the threshold in the state of California, that the pain is enough to promote action, that the pain is enough that the people will show up at the voter polls, that the people will volunteer, that the people will be involved, that just like General Flynn says, local action equals national impact, that the people begin to take their power back locally. It sounds to me, and from what I see and your experience and what you've done, you are a fighter, a happy warrior for the people. So that is exciting. And I believe, again, the time is now. So Michael, I got another question for you. Now, I want to go in a little bit deeper into the arena of election integrity. Sometimes we think that, okay, all the power is in the Secretary of State's hands. Now, we know that when we take a deeper dive into where the election fraud, it's happening in lots of ways. But when we're looking at those voter rolls, everything is getting stuck up in the Secretary of State from all the research that we've done. So now you've seen the inside of government from Huntington Beach to DC. How does your experience as a city attorney prepare you to tackle election integrity as California's next attorney general?
Well, there's a few things that we can do. The attorney general has a lot of independent authority in California. The kind of authority where I have the ability to act on my own. I do not need permission from the governor or the Secretary of State or the legislature, anyone else, to take decisive action in order to ensure that California is compliant with all laws, both federal, state, and local laws. So the important thing with regard to election integrity is this: if we can get our voter rolls cleaned up, and there actually has been some effort undertaken in order to achieve that. When I was with the Department of Justice last year, and we started sending letters to secretaries of state that they needed to clean their voter rolls, and that the Attorney General wanted to inspect the voter rolls to ensure that they're clean, meaning not dirty or bloated with people on there who are not actually warm bodies able to vote on election day, who are citizens and qualified to vote.
Right. You mean, Michael, not the dead people voting,
or
voting from other states, right? All of that, yes.
Right, or duplicates. I mean, it might be a surprise, maybe it's not a surprise, that there actually was a state that we found that had over 40,000 people on their voter rolls who exceeded the age of 120 years old. So so 40,000, that's just in one state. So cleaning the voter rolls is key, and cleaning the voter rolls is a requirement under federal elections laws. And when I say we're going to be compliant with federal elections laws, what that means is I'm going to be not only issuing public attorney general opinions, formal opinions about what the state of the law is and what it means for the state to come into compliance with those laws, including federal laws, but it also means I'm going to be sending letters to the governor, to the Secretary of State, and to all the county clerks and all the registrar of voters throughout the state of California on what it means to be compliant with federal elections laws, which means we will be cleaning our voter rolls. We did get California to start cleaning their voter rolls, believe it or not. Shirley Weber did send a letter to all the ROVs to start cleaning voter rolls. I think this was about a year and a half ago. So about 3 million names have come off the California voter rolls, and there's more work to be done. But when we can achieve clean voter rolls and then also improve our voter registration program. So federal elections laws also require that every state verify the eligibility of voters when they go to register to vote.
Good.
The problem is in California, there really is no mechanism for the state to verify the eligibility of voters when they go to register to vote. If you can go right online and register to vote through the internet. You can go to
the DMV.
To the DMV
I
and just
went the other day to the DMV to get another copy of my license. My license was left on an airplane. And I'm going to tell you what, they asked me if I wanted to vote. And I was like, really? My information's in the system right now. They want to know if I want to vote. Let me just see if they let me go in and vote. They let me.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What does that tell you?
Yeah. And the default position in California is if you go to the default system is if you go to a DMV and you go to register or sign up to apply to have a driver's license, apply to obtain a driver's license, you get a touch screen. You're presented with a touch screen and you go and you start clicking buttons and boxes. And you actually can accidentally register to vote by clicking a box or clicking the wrong button, because the interface is there to just click and register. And that's not the state fulfilling its obligation. That's not the state fulfilling its obligation to take affirmative action, to do something affirmatively to verify the eligibility of the voter when they go to register to vote. So people are registering to vote at DMVs who have never presented proof of citizenship. They may be indicating that they have a social security number or not. They don't even have to enter their social security number. They just say, yep, yes to all the questions. And then suddenly they have a driver's license and now they're registered to vote. That's a problem. And so that's going to be an action item for me as well, to fix California so that we are compliant with federal elections laws. Presenting a touchscreen at the DMV is not compliant with federal elections laws. So there's a whole host of things that we actually can do. We can also ensure that all the ROVs and the county clerks are compliant with state elections laws. There is a whole body of elections laws in California that are actually aimed at ensuring election integrity. And a lot of those laws are not even followed. I mean, you're not even, counties are not supposed to have systems that process ballots hooked up to the internet, for instance, right? They're not supposed to be hooked up to the internet. There are laws and regulations on the books. Yet there are counties where they have systems where you feed in ballots into this voting machine or counting machine, and they're hooked up to the internet. So
these are our Dominion machines, our ES&S machines, all hooked up to the internet, which is where Clint Curtis comes in creating that code that actually is being utilized to flip the vote, right? So go on.
So my point is there is a long list of things that can be done, where once we address all of them when I'm in office, it will restore election integrity dramatically. Then, Kim, you add to the fact that in November, we're going to have a voter ID measure on the ballot here in California.
That's right.
And to your earlier point about why this election is different, look, voter ID is a big deal. It's got a lot of support here in California. Over 72% of the public supports voter ID in California. Over 62% of Democrats in California support voter ID. We anticipate that with voter ID being on the ballot, it's going to drive turnout. And I can tell you that if only every registered Republican who voted for Trump in 2024 were to vote for me here in 2026, I would win the election over Rod Bonta handily. But obviously in 2024, that had Trump voter enthusiasm. We think that the voter ID being on the ballot here in November could present the same type of enthusiasm for voter turnout. So we're very, very hopeful that the conditions right now are good for people like you were saying, your audience, to say, hey, look, this seems like the election. The conditions are right now in this election for us to take California back. What can I do? This should be a motivator or a catalyst for people to say, you know what, I am going to get off the couch, or I am going to be proactive and do something to help our local candidates or to help get out the vote messaging to voters. that we have a community that rises up this time in this election because of all of these conditions, whether it's voter ID is on the ballot, but also that they need to do something in response to their lack of satisfaction with our leadership in Sacramento. I think too that after the LA fires, I think things are different now in California. And I think that was dramatic, and it shocked people at how bad our government can be, even at the Los Angeles level, you know, in addition to the Sacramento level. So people are realizing like our governments up and down the state of California are really messed up. They're not here to serve us. They've gotten arrogant. They're elitists. They're completely out of touch, and they're irresponsible and corrupt. And so where we were absorbing high gas prices before, and absorbing high taxes before, and absorbing high homelessness and high crime before, we as Californians were absorbing that and sort of putting up with it and tolerating it. After the fires in LA, people aren't tolerating it anymore. They're like, you know what, enough is enough. Then you add all of this news about all this corruption through waste, fraud, and abuse to the tune of $250 billion. I think people, Kim, right now are pretty fed up. And I think if people like you and others who have an audience really keep pushing this and help us as a community, because Kim, what you're doing is you're making people who have felt for decades like their vote didn't count in California. You're helping them realize, you know what, maybe in this election, my vote will count. Maybe this is the time my vote will count. And I want everybody out there to know your vote does count, will count. And it can count, and it will count this November. I absolutely guarantee it. I have all the faith in the world. That's why I'm in this race too. I know with the support of the public, we really can make a meaningful difference and turn California around overnight once I get in office and once we get a good governor in office as well.
I love it. I love it. Gosh, so many rich nuggets that you just gave me. You know, I think a couple of years back, Ruth Weiss, Election Integrity Project California, joined forces with Judicial Watch, and they sued Los Angeles to clean up the voter rolls. And Michael, they won. But a year later, they put all those people back on the voter rolls. So what I'm hearing from you is you're going to go the extra mile. You're going to make sure that this fraud, this corruption, and this abuse is going to stop on your watch. And you're going to set systems in place that that I believe for the long term are going to make a difference in us having real freedom and our voices heard in the state of California.
Right. And if Californians will allow the candidates who are running, the good candidates who are running, to run the table on all of these offices in November, and we can get a good governor candidate, we can get a good Secretary of State candidate in office, we can get a good superintendent of schools in office. I'm supporting Sonia Shaw, and she's supporting me. Get a good controller in office. Herb Morgan is going to be a great controller. Steve Hilton for governor, Gloria Romero for lieutenant governor. If we can get this team into Sacramento, Kim, I'm telling you, I think within 30 days of taking office, I think everyday Californians are going to feel a substantial difference. This is not just rhetoric. People have to know this. You said this at the beginning of at the top of the program. I have done most of what I'm telling the public I can do. I have already done it when I was city attorney of Huntington Beach or working for the Department of Justice with regard to elections integrity measures, enforcing federal elections laws. In Huntington Beach, I lowered crime by double digits. I did it firsthand. I reduced homelessness by double digits, actually by over 60% since COVID. So I have done these things that I am now saying I want to go to Sacramento and do. So if the public can understand, hey, if we put these people in office, if we put Michael in for Attorney General, Steve Hilton in for Governor, Gloria Romero for Lieutenant Governor, Sonia Shaw for Superintendent, Herb Morgan for Controller, if we get this team in place, California can turn around overnight. We really, really can. I believe that wholeheartedly. Absolutely.
So Michael, we're going to traverse for a second. Michael, what are you going to do? I mean, you're a warrior for truth and freedom. And if that was the ticket, if that was what we the people elected, the ticket you just mentioned, what would you do to hold every single one of those people on that
Mhm.
ticket accountable to giving the power back to the people and making sure that they actually do what they said they're going to do?
Yeah. So first of all, we are all friends, and we're working together right now on the campaign trail. I speak to Herb Morgan on a regular basis. I talk to Sonia Shaw on a regular basis. I talk to Steve Hilton on a regular basis, and Gloria Romero. So
Mhm.
we are all talking. I can tell you too that there is some great opportunities to collaborate when we're in Sacramento. So for instance, when Steve Hilton wants to issue an executive order, he can turn to me and say, "Hey, Attorney General, can you evaluate this executive order? And if you support it, which chances are I will, I can support it with a formal Attorney General opinion, which will not only support the executive order, but it will defend it in court when it gets challenged by some organization that comes out of the woodwork and wants to try to undermine the governor's executive authority." And so similar things can be done with the other offices that you mentioned. I know Herb Morgan, for instance, is
Mhm.
already rolling up his sleeves and looking into areas of waste, fraud, and abuse throughout the state of California. As controller, he has the ability to audit. He has the authority to audit any agency or organization that takes state money. That's pretty broad sweeping authority. And that's really the fundamental plank of his platform, is to say, like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to investigate all the corruption that we've been hearing about. Then when he is done with his investigations, he puts a nice little bow on it and then sends it over to the Attorney General's office. And then we move forward with the prosecutions of the wrongdoers and the criminals who engaged in fraud, waste, and abuse. And then we do those things swiftly because we owe it to the public. And we put people behind bars who are criminals. And then we claw that money back that was lost. So the waste, fraud, and abuse, the $250 billion, I'm actually going to go after that money and get it back. We're going to sell yachts. We're going to seize mansions, whatever it takes. We're going to
This is gonna be great.
get that money back, and we're going to return it to the
Come on.
taxpayer.
There better be a TV show where
Yeah.
we're following every bit of this, because this is exciting.
Yeah, a reality TV show. I know that.
Exactly.
No, but it's true. And here's the thing: is like, I don't even need to get reelected. You know, when I'm elected, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to end up breaking some things. I want to fix California, and I want to do it for everyday Californians and for the taxpayers. I'm not going to be up there to try to preserve myself or make friends. You don't go to Sacramento when you're someone like me who wants to fix things, and I mean it. You don't go to Sacramento to make friends at all. You go to Sacramento, frankly, probably to make a lot of enemies, and I'm happy to do that. I've worked in government before. I worked in Huntington Beach for 10 years, and that had over 1,000 people working on staff in the city of Huntington Beach. And if you think going in there suddenly in 2014 by virtue of an election and making friends was happening, that's not true at all. I made a lot of enemies there at first too. And then likewise at the DOJ, when I went back and worked for the DOJ, there was a lot of Biden holdover staff who they were not happy to have new leadership there as well. So these are the types of things that I've done before in the past. I'm going to go up there and do the right thing by the everyday Californian, the hardworking taxpayer, period. I'm not there to promote myself, preserve myself, try to get reelected into a second term. I don't care. If I do what's right by everyday Californians in my first term, and I reduce crime throughout the state of California, I reduce homelessness, I protect young girls in sports and education, I stop the mutilation of children by hospitals and doctors, I restore election integrity, we become Second Amendment compliant, we become Title IX compliant, we become sanctuary state, non-compliant, so that we're actually compliant with federal immigration law. When I do all of these things, if I end up getting unelected or not reelected in my second term because of all of those good things I've done for everyday Californians, then so be it. I'm happy to. I'm not there for my own promotion or advancement. I'm there to fix California starting on day one, I promise you.
I love it. Michael, you're there to take our California back. We just wrapped up a 4-week Take Our California Back movement. We were in Shasta County, the epicenter of election transparency, showing us the way with the additional election security feature, how to have real transparent elections in the interim of the stolen elections. We were in San Joaquin meeting with all the farmers, the ranchers, the supervisors, They are so excited about implementing this. And then you were with us in Kern County, where we got to hear from the people. And what was so amazing about this is, there are things in place right now in counties throughout the state of California where they are saying, you know what? Enough is enough. There is something that we can do. And when Clint Curtis showed us the way on that event, and for those who have not seen Michael and our Kern event, I want you guys to go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. The whole show is there, or that Governor State Forum in Kern County is there. So go and watch it. And then Clint unfolded for us, Michael, the transparent election, showing us cameras everywhere so that we actually know where those ballots are going, where they're coming in. Nothing's being hidden. We actually are staying within the state guidelines using a scanner tabulator, right? Everything is live streamed to the public. The people's, of course, the identity is protected, but we see that ballot entering into the scanner tabulator. And then we see it coming out so that there's no hanky-panky behind the scenes. We don't have to deal with the Dominion machines, the ES&S machines, all the junk behind the trunk. That what we can count is what we're actually seeing, those ballots. That gives us the power back to get a real vote. So my question for you is, what did you see possible with the unfolding of the additional election security feature that now, FYI, I got a call in from Mike Lindell 2 days ago, and Mike and I have been talking. He about fell out of his chair when he saw what Shasta was doing and how far they came. Mike's like, Kim, I'm getting on Bannon right now, and President Trump and I have been talking, and he's taking this to the nation right now. It's not the end all be all, but it's the next best way. What are your thoughts?
Well, I approve. I think the system that they have there in Shasta is remarkable, and to have an expert like the ROV there, Clint, is just fantastic. I mean, it's a shame that every county in the state of California does not have an ROV like that or an expert like that. We have just historically been lulled to sleep here, and maybe it's more malicious than that. Maybe there really is an agenda to make our systems, our election systems, so bad. I mean, have you ever asked yourself, why is it that after you cast your ballot, at least this is the way it is in Orange County, after you cast your ballot, how is it, or why is it not, that you can't go back and look to see who you voted for after the fact?
Right.
There's no receipts. I can't go onto my Registrar of Voters website or anything. It says I voted, but it doesn't show me who I voted for. And why wouldn't it? Why doesn't it? So there's a whole series of things about our current system that defy common sense. They defy proper security measures, and frankly, as I said before, they're actually non-compliant with state elections laws and not compliant necessarily with federal elections laws. So my job as Attorney General is going to be to make sure that we're compliant with all federal, state, and local elections laws. And part of that's going to be, Kim, is to make sure that in the top part of my administration, when I have an executive team together, that I actually have somebody dedicated to election integrity throughout the state of California. And just so the public knows too, as the Attorney General, if anybody's wondering, what's he talking about? The Attorney General is just the lawyer for the governor. That's not true. The Attorney General has a tremendous amount of independent authority. In fact, the California Constitution gives me broad authority on my own. I don't need permission or cooperation with the governor or the legislature or anybody else to do a lot of the things I've been talking about. But the other part of this is I have purview over all district attorneys throughout the state of California and all sheriffs. So there's 58 counties, which means there's 58 DAs and 58 sheriffs.
We need the DAs, we need the sheriffs.
So when I go to do the work that I'm talking about doing, the things that I've spoken about today, I'm going to be directly communicating with the district attorneys and with the sheriffs too, to ensure that, on the one hand, we're Title IX compliant, or in the case of the sheriffs, they're going to get a letter from me on day one, basically saying that in order to be Second Amendment compliant, you need to approve all CCWs within 90 days. You can't allow your process to delay the bearing of arms. Everybody has a right to bear arms in this country, and we can't allow sheriffs and their processes to delay them. Like in the county of Los Angeles, it can take 9 months to 3 years to get a CCW, or it's indefinite. You just never end up getting one. That's a violation of the Second Amendment. So that's just an example. I will be able to give directives, and I will have oversight of the district attorneys, and I can work directly with the sheriffs as well throughout the state of California. That's in the California Constitution. So a lot of the things that I'm saying now too, these are things I will be able to do, and I can get started, I can effectuate, and I can even get done on day one when I take office.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. I mean, you guys, for my listeners right now, I can tell you that, Michael, they're jumping for joy because, it's not like you are in this box and this is the only thing that Michael can do. Yes, there are laws. You are staying within the Constitution of the state of California and also the United States Constitution. And that is really, really important. Very, very, very exciting. I'm going to give our audience a picture for a second. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. And this is a picture of what real election transparency looks like. Now, in the state of California, of course, Michael, we're going to do it a little bit different than Minnesota might do it, or, Tennessee might do it. They can go to, just like President Trump is talking about, they can go to paper ballot, right? Voter IDs, one-day voting. We need to do all that as well. But in the interim right now, this additional election security feature is going to make all the difference in putting the power back into we the people's hands. So this is what we're looking at, guys. This is an example of the Shasta County ROV. If you have not been there, if you've not done this walkthrough that we brought the governor candidates in to see with their own eyes, now they're talking about this on their platforms, then you've got to go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. So when you go to takeourcaliforniaback.com, hold on, I'm going to throw this up here. Go to takeourcaliforniaback.com, go take a look at Shasta, then Kern, then San Joaquin. These are the counties we've been to. Now, these additional counties, and there's a couple I can't mention, they're still on the download, but I'm telling you, they are taking on this system. And this President Trump is looking at this, guys. And I'm telling you, he's committed to taking our country back. And we've got to put a stake in the ground and say, you know what? I'm committed to taking California back. So go check this out. Full transparency. And in the interim of the stolen elections from 2020, we see the disclosure. It's all coming out. It was coming out before too, but there wasn't enough pain point for us to really get it. There's enough pain that we're going, OMG, I've been in the frog in the pot and I'm not doing it anymore. So we've got to support candidates that are supporting us. And I'll tell you what, I love the fact, Michael Gates, that you are supporting the people. And I love that you've already showed us with Huntington. So thank you so much. And Michael, stay with us right now. We're just going to take a moment to thank our sponsors. And this is an opportunity to say thank you to every one of our sponsors that have skin in the game, that say, you know what, freedom matters. And they help support the Take Your Power Back show and keep this show alive. So guys, the first sponsor I'm going to share with you today is our Patriots Made resource. And I don't know about you, but I was one of those people that was shopping using the big box retailers. Listen, we grew up with the illusion of choice. Procter & Gamble, Colgate-Palmolive, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever. You walk into the store, that's what you see on the shelves. The television, the advertisers, right? But what's in those products? The parabens, the alcohols, the sulfates, the triclosan, the quaternary disinfectants, they're poisons. That stuff will make you sick. They are the heavy metals that lead to dis-ease. You ever wonder where the allergies are coming from? The ADD, the ADHD, the dementia, the Alzheimer's? Listen, We can be in control of what we can be in control of. Take your power back today by switching to American made with a debt-free manufacturer that shares your values. Go to patriotsmade.com/Kim. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim. And our team of experts will reach out to you to make sure that you get a virtual tour of the store today. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim. Now, Michael, I got to share, we have another sponsor that is one of my favorites. And I got to ask you, Michael, do you eat beef?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. Every day if I can.
And here's the deal. People don't realize that beef has junk in it, like hormones, antibiotics, Zeranol. In other countries, Zeranol is outlawed, but not here in the United States. And what about mRNA that they're now injecting into meat? And Bill Gates, what is it, the 3D printing of meat? Or let's just eat crickets and bugs. Okay, listen, I've tried crickets. It just doesn't work for me. You got to check out, Michael. We absolutely love this. This is Freedom Steaks Now. And I got to confess, I tell people all the time, Michael, I'm sure you've had beef at Mar-a-Lago, as I've had beef at Mar-a-Lago, and it's good beef. And we've had beef at some of the highest level steakhouses. But I got to say, thank you, President Trump. We're grateful for that beef, but this is the bomb diggity. freedomsteaksnow.com. It is prime beef. It is the highest level, 28 days aged. And I mean, you could pay $70 or $80 at a beef house for something like this, okay? No hormones, no antibiotics, no Zeranol, and never, ever mRNA. Your price point? Costco. Better than the boxed companies. Go check it out today. Watch the video. Go to freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. The best beef ever. If you're from Boston, you can say ever. All right. So with that being said, Michael, we're going to jump right back in. It has been an absolute blessing being with you today.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you what, we have a very special event that's coming up. We've been laying the foundation with the Take Our California Back movement and election transparency. We've laid the foundation getting ready for a big event because we knew, Michael, that this wasn't just about taking California back, but it was actually going to be a key ingredient in taking the nation back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have our upcoming event, which is our statewide summit. It's our Take Our California Back Election Transparency and Real Election Reform Summit in San Joaquin. And why did we choose San Joaquin? I'm telling you, it's because that's the breadbasket of our state. Michael, if we lose the breadbasket of the state, how the heck are we going to feed the people? It's
Exactly.
so important that they're supported. And the people and the supervisors are looking at taking on, I'm just going to tell you, they're taking it on, and it's exciting. So this statewide event is April 24th and 25th. You all, my listeners, our freedom-loving patriots, are going to get your eyes on what election transparency is. On the 24th, we're going to set everything up so that you know what a precinct looks like. You know what it looks like in a transparent elections, cameras everywhere, live stream, the power put back into the people's hands. And then on the 25th, you're going to hear from our governor and state candidates. Michael, I hope this is on your calendar. I want you to be here. Michael,
It is.
Game changer. So good. So Michael's going to be with us here for that. You can find out the details on takeourcaliforniaback.com. We're going to try to make this event free and donations. So guys, any donations that you can give, please give to takeourcaliforniaback.com. Donations, you want to be a sponsor, reach out to me. If you are a part of media, a podcaster, you want to live stream this, you want to be there. And if you were part of our showdown, you know how powerful that was. So I'm going to release that from the screen right now. I'm going to come back to you, Michael, and we're going to pick it up. We're going to pick it up where we left off to finish up today's show. All right. So Michael, let's just take a look for a second. Do you see that if elected, the year 2020, the rest of 2026, all of 2027, do you see that there will be a snowball effect in the state of California? I mean, I want you to give us a vision, like give me a real vision. of what the state of California is going to look like when you're in office?
I really believe in this. It will. Let me give you the vision if we have a Republican governor as well, because I do think that the voter ID being on the ballot, the fact that the general public is fed up with leadership, I think that's going to be a benefit to all of the candidates running who have common sense solutions and have the willingness, the courage to fight for everyday Californians. I think that's going to appeal. I think the people can and will put them into office. So let me give you the vision when we all get elected. I really, really believe that just within 30 days, everybody's going to notice a dramatic difference. Everyday Californians are going to notice a dramatic difference throughout the state of California, because when the governor starts, I know it's going to be Steve Hilton, when he starts issuing executive orders on curbing a lot of government's bad behavior, he's going to be restoring California back to everyday Californians too, just by his executive authority. And then, as I said, with my authority, working with the sheriff's departments and the district attorneys throughout the state of California to crack down on crime very, very aggressively, by the way, including enforcing Prop 36, which
Yes.
our leadership will not enforce in Sacramento, even though the people passed Prop 36 overwhelmingly, which, if you don't know, just adds penalties back to crimes so that we can effectively, essentially make crime illegal again. It just gives more weight and effect to the criminal enforcement and greater penalties to take criminals off the streets, frankly. When I do that on day one, and we reduce homelessness on day one by enforcing laws that are already in the books, and we're protecting our young girls in sports on day one, like these things, when I say day one, that's not a euphemism. It's not code. It's not, I mean, I literally mean day one. I think within 30 days, people are going to start noticing homelessness dropping, crime dropping. And what you're going to see in the longer term, Kim, is as crime continues to drop, because we're supporting our police departments and we're supporting our police and we're enforcing criminal laws. And as homelessness drops, because we're enforcing the laws that are on the books and utilizing the services that actually already exist to help individuals who are currently dying on our streets. When we change our education systems so that they're back to the traditions of just teaching math, science, and history, when we do these things right out of the gate on day one, I can tell you that months into our first term, people are going to appreciate that sanity has been restored to California. And more,
Hallelujah.
and more than that, I mean, what a safe community means,
Yes.
a low crime community means, just for instance, it's going to be more prosperous because families will be safe, families will feel safer, businesses will thrive. They won't feel like they have to move, relocate, or leave the state of California altogether. We want our mom and pop businesses throughout the state of California to be thriving. These small businesses, especially the retail and those located in the business districts, whether they're coffee shops, bodegas, carnicerias, whatever they are, they are all suffering because the foot traffic has dropped because the streets are not safe. So when we make California safe again, we're going to make California prosperous again. And then ideally, and this is the plan, I think this is going to happen, even election integrity, even though 2027 won't be an election year, people are going to see the election integrity measures that we're going to be taking. And so I think they're going to be in 2027, looking ahead to 2028, having all the confidence in the world that in California, voting will be safe again, and that election integrity will be restored, because through my work, through the governor's work, through the Secretary of State's work, a lot can be done to change our systems and give confidence back to the people that it's safe to vote again, and that election results can be relied upon. So, and I know it varies from county to county. I think some counties are better than others right now. Like you said, Shasta is a perfect example. So, I think there's going to be an appreciable difference. Things are going to be a whole lot better very right away, very soon, shortly after we take office.
So good. So good. You know, it's going to be really nice when I go to vote and they don't tell me like they did in 2020 that I had already voted. right? So that's going to be really nice. And when
Yeah,
I get to show my ID and
yeah,
they actually make sure it's really me,
yeah,
that's going to be nice. It's going to
yeah,
be really nice when we have real verifiable signatures.
yeah,
It's going to be amazing when the chain of custody is a real chain of custody that's protected. And it's going to be really nice when the people's vote
yeah,
and voice are heard.
yeah,
So, Michael, let me ask you, for
yeah,
our listeners in counties beyond Shasta,
yeah.
in Kern and San Joaquin and Huntington Beach, and
Mhm.
maybe even Riverside, what's your message on joining this county, this Take Our
Yeah,
California Back county to county movement
yeah,
for election transparency, utilizing
yeah.
what Shasta is doing with the additional election security feature?
Yeah, what I would say to these cities that are sitting on the sidelines and city leadership that are, and even county leadership at counties that are sitting on the sidelines and just watching, you too, just like we're asking voters to get off the couch and make a difference in their communities by getting out the vote, motivating voters, educating voters, getting them to the polls. You too, you city leadership and county leadership, you need to get off the sidelines too, and you need to act courageously. There are now examples out there, whether it's using Huntington Beach as an example or using Shasta County as an example. There are people who have now led the way. And now that there is a blueprint for you to act
Yes.
upon, you need to be courageous too and step up and do the right thing. Because the more cities and the more counties that step up and step forward and lean into these issues and they be courageous, the quicker we can change California. As long as we have people sitting on their hands, whether it's county leadership or city leadership, sitting on their hands, wanting to stay neutral or on the sidelines, it's going to slow this down. We want to fix California, and we really can fix it overnight if we get enough people involved, enough counties involved, enough cities involved. A perfect example, just real quick, is when my plan to reduce crime throughout the state of California includes too the opportunity for cities to have a city level criminal prosecutor. I created that program in Huntington Beach in 2017, where I created a brand new city level criminal prosecutor, like a baby DA that works with our county DA to prosecute crime. Because I did that in Huntington Beach, crime dropped in the first year by double digits, and it's dropped ever since. I want every city to have that opportunity so that they have a baby DA or they have a city level criminal prosecutor to fight crime too. So I have a plan. I've done it before. And this is what I'm talking about. Cities participating in the solutions, counties participating in the solutions. So we need those cities and those counties to be courageous and do the right thing and join us in our efforts and just adopt the real life solutions that have already been deployed by other jurisdictions.
Come on, so good, Michael Gates. So, Michael, there are people who want to bring you on the show. There are people right now that they want to know, how do we do it? How do we do what Shasta is doing? They can go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. We know that people can reach out to you specifically at your website, which is
Gates4AG.com. That's Gates, the number 4, AG.com. And they can find me on social media on X at Michael Gates ESQ. That's ESQ for Esquire. So Michael Gates ESQ. And then Instagram, Michael.E for Edward .Gates. So that's Michael.E.Gates on Instagram. But if you go to my website, Gates, the number 4, AG.com, you can find out all about me and my campaign. You can also sign up. If you want to email me, though, if anybody's out there and wants to reach out and offer a fundraiser or invite me onto another show, you actually can email me at gates4ag@gmail.com. So feel free to send me an email.
Number four, or the word
Gates, the
four?
number 4. Yep, Gates, the number 4, AG@gmail.com.
Okay.
So thank you for having me on the show, and thank you to the audience for listening and joining my team by going to my social media and following me, or going to my website or sending me an email.
Michael Gates, you are a joyful warrior.
Yeah.
So grateful for you. Michael Gates for Attorney General. Michael, we're going to have you back again. We're so excited about the upcoming statewide event on April
Thank
24th and 25th. And may God continue to bless you, protect you and your family, give you the wisdom and discernment. Guys, go follow Michael. Look at the blueprint he created in Huntington. Follow Shasta, all of it. Michael, I love you. God bless you. We'll see you on the other
God
side.
bless.
Let's take California back.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
So good, guys. Michael Gates, an absolute blessing, guys. I was absolutely blown away by Michael. I think all I kept saying is, why is he not running for governor? Listen, we've got some amazing governor candidates, that's for sure, and I think it's perfect him running as attorney general. That's his area of expertise. He could take on governor, of course, but we've seen what he's already done with Huntington. We already see what's possible. So I'm going to tell you guys, you have an opportunity to support Michael's campaign. Go there now. It's gates4ag.com. That's gates4ag.com and support Michael Gates in his initiative to taking our great golden state of California back. And with that being said, guys, we're not done yet. This is, we're going to close out today's show. And I want to give y'all some final words today. What we're doing right now is Michael really created vision for what's possible in our state. We've seen he's laid the foundation, and we see, in Huntington Beach, and we see him standing for the Take Our California Back movement of election transparency. He's standing for all the right things. So I really believe that if we take on the initiatives he's taking on, it's going to set this state up for success. And just like Michael and I said earlier, the time is now. The time is now for we the people to take our power back. If you're one of those people who says, you know what, my vote doesn't count, no one's going to listen to me, the elections were stolen, I am telling you right now, this is what the other side, the elitist, wants you to think, that your voice doesn't matter. That is a lie from hell, and we bind that up in Jesus' name. You get out and you make your vote and your voice count. Support things like our Take Our California Back election transparency movement with our governor and state candidates in total supporting us and standing for your voice and your vote being heard. You can go to takeourcaliforniaback.com. Guys, donate, support, become one of our sponsors. We want to make sure that you are seen and you are heard. So remember, this is where we, the people, unite. State leaders will be coming to our Take Our California Back San Joaquin statewide summit. County supervisors, a registrar of voters, candidates, freedom-loving Americans from all sides of the party line. This is for everybody. If you're in another state and you're hearing this and seeing this, then this is for you as well, because you're going to get vision for what's possible in your state. No more division. It's time for solutions on transparent elections, real reforms, real accountability, and making sure that your voice and your vote are heard. So whether you're red, whether you're a blue, whether you're a purple, whether you're independent, whether you're an NPP, no party, if you love this country, this is for you. You want to be there and join us. So I want you to go save the date. The details are going to be up at takeourcaliforniaback.com. You want to be there. This is going to be an amazing event. And for those of you that are going, oh my gosh, we're at war right now. We didn't even talk about that today. There's always going to be wars, rumors of wars. We're going to be hit with a lot of things over the next, I would say, 36 months. It's going to be crazy. All right. But we need to keep our eyes on the goal. We need to remember where our joy, our freedom and our peace comes from. We need to remember whose we are and who we are. That's putting a stake in the ground that we will not give way to fear. We will continue to stand for freedom. And I think of General Flynn's words to me and a team of digital warriors about 5 years ago. And he said the words, you have 5 years. Take care of your family and stand for truth. And he said it again, take care of your family. So take your power back where you can take your power back and stand for truth. California is your state. It's your home. If you're in Tennessee, if you're in Nebraska, if you're in Florida, if you're all in Utah, that is your home. It's your opportunity to say, how do I want my home to be taken care of? Do I want honesty? Do I want integrity? Do I want connection, collaboration? Do I want to keep my eyes on true peace, true freedom? You have the opportunity to do that. Guys, what we're doing is we are taking our power back. So don't worry about all the squirrels. There's going to be lots of them. There will be security at our Take Our California Back event. And if any of you followed us with the Take Our California Back movement, we were on Tucker, we were on Glenn Beck, we reached hundreds of millions internationally, and we moved the needle. Our security was top notch. We will have that security at that event. Be there with us. TakeOurCaliforniaBack.com. Media, podcasters, reach out to me. I want you to go to typbproducer@gmail.com for details. That's Take Your Power Back Show. So typbproducer@gmail.com. Drop me a message. Say, hey, I want to be there live with you. I want to broadcast, or I want to live stream the event. We're bringing everybody in. We don't need all the accolades. Kim Yater's show, Take Your Power Back Show, doesn't need all the accolades. Share it on your platforms. Get the word out far and wide. That's how we were able to reach millions with many of our movements, because we joined forces, we locked arms. It's not the time for pride, ego, and arrogance. It's the time for we the people to join forces and to unite and to take our California back. So with that being said, follow me on all podcast platforms. You can find us at TakeYourPowerBackShow.com. That's TakeYourPowerBackShow.com. You can find the Take Our California Back movement at TakeOurCaliforniaBack.com. That's TakeOurCaliforniaBack.com. You can find me at Real Kim Yater on X, at Kimberly Yater, or at Take Your Power Back Show on Facebook. On Instagram, you can find me at Take Your Power Back Show _Kim Yater, and on TikTok at Take Your Power Back Show as well. So find us on all of those platforms. Share this show today. And again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for putting a stake in the ground. I want to thank you for being courageous and bold. This is the time for such a time as this. God is with us, and he says that no weapon forged against us will prosper, and we will refute every tongue that opposes us. Isaiah 54, this is the vindication that comes from me, declares the Lord. California, it's time to take your California back. America, it's time to take this nation back. Stand for your family and stand for freedom. I love you. God bless you. It's been a joy being with you, and I'm going to see you all on the other side. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Get ready. We've got some amazing interviews coming on up. And here we go. We're closing out today's show. Godspeed.
Thank you for joining us for the Take Your Power Back Show. As Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yater speaks to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Listen in weekly and learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be encouraged, be inspired, Be transformed as you step into your power and take action in your leadership and allow your voice to be heard. Together, let's take your power back. To sponsor and support the Take Your Power Back show, go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. That's takeyourpowerbackshow.com and take your power back.